Whether
Zing.
whether alone or with friends, I'm always satisfied. I take care of me.
That's funny.
Uh,
Good times.
mhm.
All right. Should we do this thing?
Sure.
It's not getting any earlier.
We ain't getting any younger.
And that too. Hello and welcome to episode 486 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, March. It's not the 6th. It's the 1st.
It's March 1st.
I don't know why I put 6 there. That's weird. 2016. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me this week, as always, Mr. Greg Seward from Canada. Hello.
What's happening, y'all?
How's it going?
Good. It's getting warm up here. It's like 10 degrees today.
Yeah?
Celsius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You still needed to wear a jacket, but it was like 10 degrees.
What is that in
I don't know.
in the Fahrenheits?
I don't know. The rest of the world is in Celsius, isn't it?
I think you're right.
Yeah. So
we're the ones that are messed up.
I don't know. It's 10 degrees above freezing. Figure that out.
So like in the 40s?
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah, why not?
I want to say I don't know.
Are you ever going to
I have no idea.
Are you ever going to open Guitar Hero Live, by the way?
I did open it.
It looks
That's
close
just the
to me.
box. That is
Alright.
just the box.
All right.
I have it open. I've played it once.
Congratulations.
I think that's about it. It was only $50, so I don't feel like I have to get like a lot of use out of it. I feel like I get more use out of Rock Band 4, which I played a bunch of this week because the Lego Rock Band and Rock Band 2 exports are available for the Xbox now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So my song total is now over 600.
I was over at my parents-in-law's place today because we're trying to get rid of some of the furniture we have stored down there. We've had a bunch of stuff in storage over in their basement for years. And two of the things that are over there are the Rock Band and Guitar Hero drum sets.
Nice.
Yeah.
A Guitar Hero drum set.
Yeah, I remember Guitar Hero, whatever the one when they started doing the band. I got the big band box for. It was the 3-pad and 2 cymbals.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get the full band for Guitar Hero.
I don't know why I did. I should have learned my lesson with. I enjoyed using the drums on Rock Band, but I never really was crazy about it. It was cool, but I never really got all that into it. And then when I got it for Guitar Hero, I think I might have used those things like 3 times.
Yeah.
Which is why I haven't gotten back into the music game stuff this time around.
Well, and Mad Catz is hurting because nobody else is either.
It's too bad, but I can't jump in. I can't spend that kind of money on that stuff.
Well, the guitar bundle on my shelf. The guitar bundle has been on sale. The Rock Band 4 guitar bundle has been on sale for like $70. It was like
it goes down to like 50. I might consider it.
Yeah. Well, Guitar Hero is already down to that level. So
yeah, but I don't trust that because of what you said about the way the library is set up.
Where you're not actually downloading.
Yeah, I hate that because if you're talking about how people haven't really gotten back into it, so that just makes me think that it's too bad because that's the one I've tried and I liked everything else about it. I love the guitar and I love the new mechanics
for the keys,
but I can't. I'm not taking that chance.
Yeah, I can dig that. I'm all in on Rock Band 4. Still, and it's still a great game. It's the same game pretty much as before. I don't like the new guitar solos, so that was like the big selling point, right? I don't like them, so I have to turn them off every time. And each time I boot the game up, it resets my preferences. So I have to like remember to do it. Ugh. Otherwise, in the first song,
why does it do that?
I don't know. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't know, but it keeps resetting it, and it sucks. I just want to turn those off and leave them off. So, yeah. Right, you see that Uncharted? Yeah, you see that Uncharted story trailer?
I have not seen it, although I heard about the controversy with the Ubisoft art.
Yeah, so when the trailer initially went up, it had a scene where there's like a piece of artwork on over the fireplace at Drake's house, because of course, and it's like an island setting, and that is apparently a piece of concept art from Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
I think it's in their art book.
It's in their art book, yeah. And Naughty Dog had taken out the pirate that was in that image, but otherwise used it unmodified. So,
so I wonder if they had like a graphic artist or something that just reused some of his or her stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that could be. Oh, you mean somebody who worked for
somebody who either worked for Ubisoft or freelanced, and whether they work or freelance for Naughty Dog. I'm saying, like, you know, there could be other explanations outside of Naughty Dog is evil and somebody went and took Ubisoft art and airbrushed it, right?
That's true. Yeah. Well, and the amount of art assets in games in large AAA 3D games these days is just crazy, and that's why, you know, in the credits of all those, you usually have these outsourced companies that just do art.
Yeah, that's I'm wondering if that's what happened.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what happened or if it was something else. Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever hear.
Oh, we'll never know for sure.
What happened. But they fixed it. They fixed the image and released an updated version of the trailer to reflect that, and it looks awesome. Of course.
I can't wait. It's soon, isn't it? It's not next month.
No, the end of April. Yeah, end of April.
So almost next month technically.
The end of next month. Yeah. So we still got 2 months to wait, I guess. But I'm excited about that game. Very excited.
I might be finished Tomb Raider by then.
How far into that are you?
I think I'm like 60 or 70%, but I haven't been doing all the extras the whole way, so I feel like that means I'm getting close to the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten so good. Oh my god! Like, we're going into what you've been playing now, I know, but yeah, like, I've gotten to the point now where a lot of her gear is, you can upgrade all your weapons in that game, which is kind of cool because it actually changes the way they look. Plus, you can upgrade all her gear. You go hunting to get hides and that sort of thing. And but you also, like, some of the main stuff is you upgrade her climbing picks or axes or whatever they're called, so that you can throw them. And so she can basically swing like Tarzan now across gaps. It's really cool. Anyway, it's just, like, there was this scene I was playing last week where I was scaling the side of an old cathedral on the side of a mountain. And, like, the movement was just so fluid. Like, you know, you'd leap off, she'd leap off one jump and you'd throw this axe and grab it and you'd swing across and then you'd throw it to another edge and you'd pull herself up and she'd roll through, and, like, just, it was a very Tomb Raider moment. It was like this 10 minutes encapsulated the reason why I love that game and why I love those games and the way they play. It's cool because it's taken a while to actually get her to that point in the game.
Yeah.
So now that I'm there, I'm stoked.
Cool. Saving all the good stuff for the second half of the game, huh?
Yeah, right.
Aren't you not supposed to do that? Because
that is the common. Yeah. That's what I was taught.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that because only like half or less than half your player base is likely to see it. So you may as well bring some cool stuff up front.
But that's not to say the game was bad before that.
Sure.
Of course. You know. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm surprised you were able to play on your Xbox because last week there was that thing, right?
Ugh, yeah.
Was that Tuesday night or Wednesday night? I forget which.
I don't know. All I know is my son was trying to watch something on Netflix, and he had way more patience than me because literally every like 3 minutes it would pop up and say that there was a problem, and he would have to press OK, and then it would go back to the menu screen and he would reload the movie that he was watching, and he kept watching it for some reason in like 3-minute increments.
Oh my gosh.
For like an hour.
That's crazy.
At first I thought that's kind of funny, and then I was like, I'm a little bit worried about you.
Yeah, so apparently there was a DDoS attack on Xbox, and a whole bunch of things went down. So if you're somebody like me who's all digital on the Xbox One, you could not boot any of your games suddenly.
I could still play games.
I could play games, but I had to set myself in offline mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a fun thing. And during that whole whole thing couldn't even like buy anything off of Xbox.com, and none of the game pages would show up on Xbox.com. So it was like a full, it just brought everything down with it. Digital future.
Physical games for life.
Well, even physical games now have to install, and I guess they don't have to authenticate anymore. They just have to authenticate with the disc. But yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything more. Going digital is great for convenience, but when something like this happens, man, it sucks. Invalidates your entire library. All right. Did you see this? Did you hear about this? One of the developers for Ori and the Blind Forest made a NeoGAF post, which of course makes its way into the news. Kind of going on a tirade about the Nintendo NX, and there was that rumor last week or in the last 2 weeks that EA was having a meeting with Nintendo and was going to get dev kits or something like that. And this guy was basically like, there are going to be no games for the NX at launch because nobody has dev kits, and we're doing a game and we can't get dev kits, and blah, 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 blah. And on like that. My thing with that is, I mean, welcome to new console launches, right? I mean, if you're not Electronic Arts, you're probably not going to be the first out of the gate to get a dev kit, even or especially if the platform has not been officially announced and unveiled yet.
I wonder if Sony in particular set a different precedent for that, because you remember like back when they first talked about the PS4, they were going crazy with the indie games. So like, I don't have any insight into this, but like I to me that meant that indie devs had some, even if it was a virtual development kit, they had some sort of access, right? But yeah, I mean, those systems are expensive, and they're generally in short supply at the beginning of life cycle, so it's not surprising. And I mean, no offense to indie devs, because indie games are super important, and some of the best games in the last like 5 years have been indie games. 5 or 10 years have been indie games. But if you're Nintendo and you might be able to win support back from EA in a real way, I think I'm going to give you the dev kits first.
Exactly.
Or sell you the dev kits first.
I do wonder how. So Nintendo had a bunch of indie games at the launch of the Wii U, right? They had Little Inferno and a couple of others at launch. I wonder how soon those developers got dev kits. I doubt that it was, 10 months before release.
The other thing that I think would be interesting to find out is, like, we still don't really know what the NX architecture is.
Right, yeah.
Which, I mean, it's weird. If they are really going to release it this year, then he's absolutely right. Like, it's weird that you wouldn't know it yet. Because, I mean, if it ends up being, I don't think this is definitely going to be the case, but, like, we keep joking about how it's going to be an Android console.
Right.
If it ended up being that way, though, it shouldn't be too hard to get any Android native games working on the thing.
Well, that's true, think. And then you don't need 8 months to do a port, then, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We don't know the whole story, and none of us deals with Nintendo as a developer or anything like that. So, yeah, whatever. It's not surprising that EA is getting preferential treatment. They're a huge company. They have huge titles. They have titles that would be really good for Nintendo consoles. So,
yeah, indeed. Staying on the Nintendo news tip,
like we do,
of course, Pokemon Sun and Moon were announced.
I am not the right person to have on the show to talk about Pokemon. I will tune out with the rest of the audience.
Okay. Well, it leaked out like the day before, or maybe 2 days before the official announcement. There was a trademark application in Europe that spilled the beans on Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that was before the Pokemon Direct that took place on Friday. And in usual Pokemon announcement style, they showed very little of the new game. In fact, they didn't even show any gameplay this time. They just showed various pieces of concept art and voiceover talking about the new game in very, very vague, broad terms. So We know basically nothing about the game, and that's par for the course with Pokemon game announcements. But Saturday was the what's that?
No, go ahead.
Saturday was the 20th anniversary of the release of the original Pocket Monsters on the Game Boy in Japan.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
God, 20
So
years.
20 years, yeah. I was there for the E3 announcement. It was one of the Atlanta E3s actually. So I still have
One of the terrible E3s.
a press kit from the initial announcement. But yeah, it took 2 years. 2 years for that game to come into the US.
Wow.
Crazy. But celebrating its 20th anniversary by releasing the originals on the Virtual Console. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, red, blue, and yellow are in the US, and then
I have yellow.
oh yeah,
I still have my copy of yellow. Never really. I mean, I probably played it for about 8 or 9 hours.
oh yeah, yeah. I said I was not going to buy the Virtual Console releases, but of course I
You say
did.
you're not going to buy a lot
caved.
of things.
I caved, and I bought yellow
Pikachu.
because hey, Pikachu, and you can capture the starters from the other games in yellow.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. So yellow's the way to go. So I went with that. $10. I'm okay with that. I don't think I ever finished the original Pokemon. I'm pretty sure I didn't.
We have that in common.
Yeah. But I did finish Pokemon X and Y. But so yeah, a lot of people tweeting about Pokemon. I don't know if you saw a friend of the show, John Riccardi's tweets about the Japanese release. They did a physical release for these Virtual Console games.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like a physical box, but a digital code inside. And I
That's
guess
crap. Sorry.
I guess
take it back.
I guess you get like a special. Well, I think it was a digital code anyway, but you get like a magnet or something of the Game Boy games. Like instead of the cartridge, it's a magnet. But it's all done up like the original Pokemon boxes.
I guess that's cool. I mean, good collector stuff, but
yeah, very cool. Cool collector stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually is a card or not, or just a code. But anyway.
I've never been a fan of the digital code in a box thing.
No,
not really.
Me neither. Actually, what's the point of that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't get it.
I guess it's good for gifts, and that's about it.
I suppose. Like, it's okay. Never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah. Did you see the craziness over the Fire Emblem localization?
Oh man, I've tuned out on that. I don't care anymore. Like, it's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's very, very ridiculous. Patrick Klepek wrote a really interesting piece over on Kotaku, talking to some of the fans who have issue with it, and then talking to translators who work for various companies. I thought that was a really great piece.
Preemptively threatened to tear Kotaku apart if they were misquoted, I believe it was, or something along those lines.
What? I did not hear that.
Yeah, Patrick posted it. It was something, I don't know who it was exactly, but he got a note after he had talked to these people, just basically saying like, we've been burned by journalists before, and if we sniff anything that sounds like we've been misquoted or taken out of context, we will be posting the entire interview ourselves, and blah blah blah. It was super aggressive.
Wait, was that the localization folks or the fans who were?
Localization folks.
Oh, it was. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So, and Patrick, I think, actually posted the entire Skype interview he did with them to hit all that off. But
yeah.
It was just like, I mean, I get it, you know.
Sure.
It was just kind of funny. He posted it, and it was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't, on the flip side of that, I don't blame them, because a lot of times the pro news sites do tend to jump in on whatever side they're for.
That's true.
It is possible to have things taken out of context, and I'm sure with the crap that they get from these hardcore fans that have such a problem with localization. But anyway,
I know, looking at some of the some of the images they have up on Kotaku of like the quote unquote straight translation and the edited one. It's like, why would you want to play that game where it's just absolutely literal? Like that
Yeah.
doesn't that does not seem at all fun to me.
Pure, man. It's pure.
I don't know. That reminds me of the people who you know, or they watch fan subs of Naruto and think that show should be full of like cuss words because the Japanese is, and you know,
yeah,
they can't really understand that there's a difference between those words in Japanese and English. And yeah, I thought Jeff Gerstmann had an interesting tweet. He had a series of tweets about the whole thing, and he was saying in the old days, if you didn't like the localization, you learned Japanese and just imported the games.
Right. Yep.
Instead of whining about it. And I'm paraphrasing.
The thing is too is that, but the difference is too is that in the old days, it was a lot of the translations were legitimately bad. Like I don't think that people realize today how good they've done it.
And sometimes completely literal as well.
Yeah, or completely unintelligible. One of the two.
Yeah.
Like but I don't think a lot of people today realize how good we've got it compared to like
exactly
20 or 30 years ago. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You know, like back then you had a reason to be ticked about something.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you know, like I just as an example, just real quick, because I mean I've written and said a lot about Phantasy Star 2, which wasn't a great localization. A lot of weird name changes, and some of the name changes that happened didn't line up with the names that they used in Phantasy Star 1 when they brought it here. So all the links between the two games were completely lost. Like completely lost. Or like even there's a scene in there where he's a musician and you have to learn a certain song, which is actually it's a spell technically, right? But the musician's gay. And so he charges the men less to learn the spell than he does the women because he thinks the men are cute. That's the Japanese version. The American version, rather than changing how much it costs to get the spell, he decides that he's going to charge. He's not gay anymore. He charges the men less because they look smarter than the women. So he charges them less. But like that's the type of crap we had to deal with, and that actually wasn't a bad example. Like there was much worse, you know. And so the stuff that we cry about today is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Plus, we get releases so much faster now,
and the quality is so good.
Yeah, like this Pokemon game that is coming out in the fall is coming out worldwide same day.
Yeah,
in like 9 different languages.
You're not waiting for 2 years for them to localize Final Fantasy.
No. Exactly.
I mean, yeah, like you look at the originals, like how long did it take the original Final Fantasy to get here? How long did it take the original Dragon Warrior to get here?
Yeah.
It was a long effing time.
Long time. We have it so good. So much so that I don't even import games anymore.
No.
The last thing I imported was probably Elite Beat Agents, the sequel that we never got. Yeah. So I think right about now is the time where we should talk about our sponsor.
Let me take a deep breath here. Since Mike's not available this week. This episode of the Player One podcast is brought to you by Out of the Park Baseball 17, the most authentic and, when you want it to be, downright nutty baseball strategy RPG ever made. Yes, Out of the Park Baseball 17. Available now for pre-order and launching worldwide on March 22nd. Features a ton of great new stuff for the upcoming year, including full licensing for Major League Baseball and, for the first time, the MLBPA. This means that all the real teams, players, ballparks, logos, and more are in the game. By the start of the real baseball regular season, you'll have accurate 2016 opening day rosters and digitally generated MLBPA-approved faces for every current player, showing how happy or ticked off they are at how things are going with the club. Out of the Park Baseball 17 lets you manage a team however you want to across nearly 150 years of history. You can be an owner, GM, and or manager of a current team or any club throughout the entire spectrum of pro baseball, from the late 1800s all the way to today and anywhere in between. Sure, it's pretty amazing to dive into the strategies of running a big league or minor league team, making trades, scouting for players near and far, signing free agents, building new ballparks, or moving your team. But what strategy game lets you also recreate The Simpsons Homer at the Bat episode? Yes, you can assemble Ken Griffey Jr., Daryl Strawberry, Roger Clemens, and the rest of Montgomery Burns' hired guns and have them rampage through an entire fictional universe of your creation. Want to have them battle the Springfield Isotopes and the Shelbyvillians in a 162-game season? Out of the Park Baseball 17 features a massive fictional creation suite that the dedicated and friendly OOTP community helps support on the forums. Even better, did you know that several Player One podcast forum users, tweeters, and hangers-on actually work for Out of the Park developments? Yes, hacker aliases Rich Grisham, Night Attack 09, and That Sports Gamer rose from the Player One community and made their way to the team, helping bring Out of the Park 17 to the world. It's that kind of game. To pre-order Out of the Park 17 and get a Player One podcast special discount of 10% off, just go to ootpdevelopments.com and click on the pre-order banner for OOTP 17. At checkout, enter the code PLAYER17 to get 10% off the $39.99 price, and if you do it by March 1st, which is today, you'll get an extra $5 off too. You'll be supporting the Player One podcast, indie game development, and a bunch of friends of the show. Best of all, you'll be getting a heck of a great game. That's ootpdevelopments.com and click on the pre-order banner for OOTP 17. At checkout, enter the code PLAYER17 to get 10% off the $39.99 price.
Excellent.
And scene.
Thanks to Out of the Park Developments for sponsoring the show.
Yes. And yes, please go support them because there are a lot of Player One affiliated folk involved.
Indeed. All right. How about we do what you've been playing?
Sure.
You want to do your stuff first?
I already talked about
Tomb Raider.
Playing more Paper Jam. I think I'm near the end, although I went to how long does it take or whatever it's how long to play it. How long to beat? That's what it's called. Yeah. And I think it said in there that it was like a 29-hour game, and I haven't even gone 15 hours, and I feel like I'm at the end. So there must be a big chunk of the game I haven't seen or considered yet.
Maybe it's one of those things where then you think you're at the end, they pull the rug out from under you, and you see that you've got a long way to go.
Yeah, honestly, going by the previous Mario and Luigi game, that would be par for the course. Which is why I hope it isn't true, because that was the only thing wrong with that game, is that it overstayed its welcome. But I've got all the bros powers now and everything. That game is so good so far. Like, I really have no complaints about it at all. If anything, maybe probably the weakest part is the papercraft battles. So it has these real-time battles that you do with giant papercraft characters, which control like tanks, and the whole thing's just really not all that much fun. It's cool to see different characters in gigantic cardboard papercraft form, but it's like, okay. It loses its luster pretty fast, and it keeps popping up. So that'd probably be my only complaint about it. But otherwise, it's really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Music is fantastic, as are the 3D visuals. Awesome. Played some more Lego Dimensions. Did the Back to the Future section and the Back to the Future mission packs. So I got the DeLorean here. Very nice. Little mini DeLorean if you're watching on YouTube. And the best part is it even has the Gullwing doors.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Right? And of course we got Marty McFly.
Of course.
With his guitar. And if you see right on the base here, it's hard to tell. It actually says Marty McFly.
That's cool.
Anyway, although I will say that the Back to the Future mission pack was pretty disappointing. It's like 3 scenes long. Like you're in Doc's lab, and you just destroy a bunch of stuff to build the big speaker, and then you're in the the Twin Pines parking lot, but you're in a very small enclosed space, and all you're really doing is building the doohickey you need to actually get into the DeLorean and go to the past. Actually, now that I'm describing it, it's longer than I think. But and then you're really just in the farmer's place. I forget the name of the farmer. And
Sure.
and then you're in the street and you go back to the future and that's it. It's really short. It's like a half hour long.
Oh,
it's like the shortest one I've played so far, and it was just
yikes.
kind of underwhelming, And I'm playing it and I'm thinking, wow, this is really short because I'm getting ready to go back to the future. I'm waiting for the lightning strike, and then it's like I'm thinking, okay, this is really short because
they're going to do all 3 movies
to cover.
Right.
Yeah, because in the game, the Back to the Future scenes in the actual proper game actually take place in Hill Valley from the Wild West era. So it's actually you're in Back to the Future 3. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to cover, but no, they didn't.
Huh.
It was kind of
okay.
But the other thing is, each one of these mission packs actually you can go into an actual world. Like when you do the Simpsons one, you can get into like a free roaming Springfield. Lego Springfield. So when you're done, you get into a free roaming Hill Valley, like downtown Hill Valley,
which really,
which has a bunch of mini missions.
The town square.
Yeah,
you don't want to
go in the town square.
Yeah, the Doc Brown's lab next to the Burger King.
Yeah, that's where you are. You're in town square. But the thing that really got me is because I'll have this on my YouTube channel. We get into the game and thinking, oh man, it'd be so great if they have the Huey Lewis songs. I know they won't, but it'd be so great if they do. And of course, you hear the Back to the Future theme every now and then. Of course, but you don't hear the Huey Lewis music during the mission pack. But then when you end up in Hill Valley at the end, Power of Love's playing. They actually did license the Power of Love.
Why only use it for that? Why use it for
why they just used it for that? But I was so pumped when it happened. And of course, because I'm putting it on YouTube, I know I can't make any money off this video. But
yeah,
it was just I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, they're playing Power of Love. Oh my god. So anyway, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing. But I'm heading into the Portal levels next, so I'm kind of pumped for that.
Cool.
And the only other game I'm playing this week is Sonic 3D Blast on the Saturn.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Playing some backlog games. The reason why is because I grabbed a game that was nearby. I got an RGB cable for my Saturn.
Oh, right. You mentioned
so I wanted to try it out. And it looks pretty as Sonic 3D Blast can look.
Sure.
You know what? There are fully 3D bonus stages in that game. They're from Sonic 2. They're the same stages as you find in Sonic 2.
Mm-hmm.
The little half pipe. I don't care what anyone says, man. 3D on the Saturn could be good. I love the way that 3D games on the Saturn looked. Just saying.
I do too.
Some of them from 1997.
Some of them I liked. I like Sega Rally. I like Virtua Fighter 2 was good. What else? Burning Rangers is pretty good. Knights was pretty good.
Knights was okay. Yeah. I guess Sega stuff more than anything else.
Sega stuff.
And anything that Lobotomy Software did.
Oh, yeah. What was their original shooter? Didn't they have like a Egyptian...
Oh, crap.
I don't remember the name of it.
What was it called? It had a different name in the UK than it did here. Exhumed was what it was called in the UK.
That's not what it was called here, yeah.
No, what the hell is it called? I have to look it up. I used to know this off by heart.
Yeah.
Real-time research. Power Slave.
Power Slave, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, they were great.
Acquired Duke Nukem came out for...
Yep, they did Duke Nukem and they did Quake.
That's right, yeah.
And they were excellent versions.
Yeah, they were excellent ports.
And then they were bought by Crave Entertainment in 98, and they worked on Caesar's Palace for the Nintendo 64. And after a year, the game was postponed, and then Lobotomy was closed.
Clearly, their talents were used.
God.
Quite well.
That's terrible. And if you'd been around at the time, you'd actually played those games, you'd realize what a tragedy that is.
Yeah.
Because they were wringing some amazing stuff out of the Saturn.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like... companies that are known for good stuff and being squandered. Talent squandered. What do you think Rare is up to besides that pirate MMO thing?
New Battletoads.
What do you want them to be up to?
They keep hinting at Battletoads.
They do. But was that a real game thing, or was that just Rare replay?
That's a good question. I really don't know. I don't know, and I have no idea what the company looks like anymore. Like, I want to sit here and say I'd love to see them do like another Perfect Dark and do it right, or something, right?
Right, but are the people who worked on that even still around?
Or are the people who are capable of making that game working there?
That's
like,
true.
who knows? They've been so neck deep in Connect stuff for so long. Like, is that what the company is now?
I hope not. Oh my god. Yeah. I popped Viva Pinata in.
Hey, you were a big fan of that game.
I loved Viva Pinata back in the day. Yeah. But I thought, it's a colorful game. My daughter is at the stage where she will play something for about 5 minutes and then want to play something else. And it depends on how easy the tutorial level is.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, Viva Pinata, it's a bright, colorful game. You get in the garden, just like mess around and do stuff. No, there's a pretty hefty, you have to know how to read tutorial in Viva Pinata. So that didn't quite work out very well for me.
I still, every time I think of Rare, I know that Conquer wasn't a great game, but creativity-wise, that game was brilliant.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, Great and Mighty Pooh, one of the greatest boss battles ever.
I need to go back and play that. That's on Rare Replay.
It is.
I need to go
back. And it's worth replaying, but it's not hard to see the warts. Like,
oh, sure.
The game was not, from a technical standpoint, was not great. But creativity-wise, it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah. Did you know Adult Swim Games is releasing a game this week with music by Grant Kirkhope?
Who's that?
The guy who did Banjo-Kazooie, the music in Banjo-Kazooie, and I think
not a Banjo-Kazooie guy.
Various Rare games. Yeah, that comes out on Thursday. Peter Panic for your iPhone or iPad.
We've already had the commercial.
It's free. Oh, I can't do another ad read?
Nope.
Damn.
People will leave.
All right. Well, how about I talk about some of the other games I've been playing aside from Pokemon?
Do it to it.
Yeah. So I'm still playing Fire Emblem Birthright. Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. That is still super fun.
I've finally got one of those Fire Emblem games.
What's that?
I grabbed one of those games.
Which game?
Let me check.
An old version?
Birthright. I grabbed Birthright.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, that's good because that's the easier of the two.
Yeah, I didn't really have the money to go out and get it. And then somebody at work had actually ordered it from Amazon, but they didn't get it same day delivery the way they wanted. And of course, Nintendo games, they came out late in the week. So he wanted to play it over the weekend. So he went out and bought a copy, and then he sold me this one for like $40 Canadian.
Oh, perfect.
Which is a pretty good price. So yeah, I haven't opened it yet because I honestly haven't finished the last Fire Emblem.
I haven't either.
So
it's fine.
Yeah, I kind of want to finish it though.
They're just about the same game though, kind of, maybe. Similar anyway. I think I'm like 2/3 of the way done with Awakening.
Holy crap.
And Birthright, I'm around chapter 8 now.
Okay.
So I finally have a castle, but I don't have anything in it, so there's no use sharing the code out yet.
What's the amiibo integration in this? Because I see the amiibo symbol on here.
Yeah, I think what that does, you put various Fire Emblem amiibo on there, and then you can fight a battle against them. It opens like a new battle, but not required. Totally optional. So I don't have any Fire Emblem amiibo, and I don't plan on getting any. So
right.
But yeah, the game's great. The localization, in my opinion, is awesome. It's
nice. Just sort of twist that knife a little bit.
Oh yeah, twist that knife. I don't care if it's not exactly what they're saying. Who cares? Played some Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2.
Oh, yeah.
That came out last week. And of course, one of the characters is super overpowered. The Rose character, one of the new characters. So you go online and like everybody on the plant side is playing the Rose.
I hate that.
So games are not terribly fun right now in multiplayer.
That was like that's what it was like when Splatoon was new and everybody played the damn roller characters.
Yeah, but in that case, the roller was only overpowered if you didn't know how to deal with it.
Well, that's what I mean. But that was the thing. It was so easy to get used to the roller that when you
that's true.
The first week, everyone played as the roller.
That's true, and I think they did nerf the roller a little bit.
Yeah.
But the situation is similar with this, where you have a character that's super overpowered. And yeah, the online games right now are not too terribly fun.
That's too bad.
It is too bad, but I've been playing the single player stuff, and that's a lot of fun still. So I'll probably jump back into the online game once all that other stuff gets worked out. Played Firewatch.
Yeah, I got to grab that.
Yeah,
I haven't grabbed it yet.
You do? Okay, then we can talk about it next week. But I finished it.
Okay, I'll play it this week.
I finished it. I played it via remote play. Finished the last bit via remote play because, of course, down in the family room, my daughter's going to be there, and there are a lot of swear words in this game.
A lot of cuisine?
A lot of F-bombs being dropped. And I would, normally I don't really care about that stuff, and it would have been great to have an option to, bleep swear words, because otherwise the game is completely, it's fine. It's wandering around a wooded area.
Mm-hmm.
But the language in the dialogue is preventing me from playing in front of my daughter, so I had to remote play the game and wear headphones. I suppose I also could have just worn headphones on the DualShock 4 and done it that way, but I did it the remote play way. That's also how I played Far Cry Primal.
Now there's a game that I really, really, really want, and it's like $80 plus tax.
$80,
and I can't justify that.
Oh my god!
Prices are insane right now. Like $80 plus tax puts it at almost $100 purchase. Like after tax, that's like $92, I think.
Oh my god! Yeah. Forget that.
Yeah, no, it's just not worth it.
When it goes down in price, you might be interested in it.
I am.
I played it via remote play, and remote play is so great until it starts lagging out in the middle of a battle, and you're kind of screwed. But otherwise, it works fine. And I love remote play. The Vita's great. I play the Vita all the time just for remote play.
It's a great feature.
It's so good.
Awesome, especially as a parent. It's an awesome alternative.
It really is. So at first, I started playing Far Cry Primal with my daughter in the room. My wife was out on a business trip, and I was like, "Oh, Far Cry Primal, she'll like this, wild animals and whatnot." Well,
yeah, okay.
The first 5 minutes of it, you slay a woolly mammoth, and then a saber-toothed tiger comes and eats a bunch of your tribe. As soon as that happened, I was like, "All right, I'll press the PS button and be like." Nah,
now that I've traumatized my 4-year-old,
we're not going to play any more of that. The game's broken. I can't do it.
Why do you? Why?
I don't know.
Isn't that thing rated M?
It is M, but the entire game is in a caveman language and just subtitled, so it's fine.
But, there's more reasons to rate something M than language.
Well, there's violence, sure. Mm-hmm. I thought, how bad could it be? Apparently, very bad.
How bad could it be?
I turned it off.
Survival. It's how our ancestors survived.
Exactly. Just gotta learn that sometime, right?
No, look at the screen.
It's like when you turn on a nature documentary or whatever, and it has.
Oh, there have been some moments with nature documentaries. I'm not gonna lie. We have the. What is it? Planet Earth, I think it is, that BBC documentary that everybody had at one point because it's this amazing Blu-ray. Yeah, and one of the earliest scenes is it's like a wildebeest or something or a caribou getting chased through the tundra, and they have it like a helicopter shot, so you're watching the thing get chased by a wolf or something like that. And of course, he eventually
Sure.
Yeah, he eventually catches it and eats it because it's nature. And I think my daughter was like 4 at the time, and my wife and I are like, oh yeah, this is great because it's really interesting, and she loves animals, and it'll be educational. And the whole time she's like, Daddy, is he gonna catch him? Is he gonna catch? What's he gonna do if he catches him? What's he doing? And it's like, okay, in the first scene.
Yeah,
it's nature.
My favorite is like the seal that's stuck on the ice floe that's like going out to sea or whatever, and you have a band of orcas around it or great white sharks or something. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Exactly. Well, it's funny because there's my aunt was telling me there's my daughter and a few of her friends. Like my daughter, she really loves animals. Like she's an animal person, and there are some cats from next door that they like to play with, and these cats are really good mousers. Like they actually leave us presents all the time, dead mice all over the place. So anyway, I guess Cameron and her 2 little friends were down playing with this one cat at one point, or they'd gone down to see her because the cat was over there and she was interested in something, and they'd gone down to see her and say hi to her and all that. But when they got close, they realized that she was hunting a mouse. This cat was hunting a mouse, and when they realized it, apparently all 3 of them were just mortified that this cat was chasing this mouse and was gonna kill it. So they were like screaming for the mouse to run. They were like telling it, "Run, run!" That's pretty great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But Far Cry Primal.
Oh yeah, Far Cry Primal. Sorry.
Now that I got to play it on remote play, I didn't play too far into it. So, but it's it used the Far Cry formula really, really well. The graphics are kind of amazing. Just in the detail of everything, the environments are great. You can really get lost in the tall grass that you're running through. They have like a hunter vision, so you can keep your targets in sight through all of that stuff.
Cool.
But it's great. I don't yet have an animal pal. I've seen that in various YouTube videos. So you can basically like befriend animals and call them to do your bidding.
So you're Mowgli.
Exactly.
Right
yeah. So instead of like, the previous Far Cry games, you could throw bait and watch the animals wreak havoc on a village and things like that.
One of the best things about it.
One of the best things about it, of course. In this one, you can just command an animal to go do your bidding. You don't even have to throw like a bait or anything like that. That you can just they'll just do it for you. It's great.
Please get an ape named Ape.
And then you can have an owl that does overhead stuff too. So you can like bomb people and dive bomb people as the owl. It's awesome. Yeah. So I'll be playing a lot more of that.
I'll be getting it when it's discounted.
Yeah,
I am interested. I'm not interested enough to spend $100 on it.
Yeah, oh my God,
it's Canadian game prices, man.
When is that going to end?
When the dollar goes back up.
When is that going to happen?
So it's funny, I always have to point this out. When we were at parity, prices didn't go down.
Of course not.
But the second the dollar weakened again, boy, those prices started to climb quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get like an email, every month or 2 months from either Apple or Steam saying, "Hey, guess what? We're going to raise the price in various locales because their currency sucks right now." So, yeah. So I also played a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront.
I played some of that this week too, actually.
I picked that up finally. It was on sale on PSN for like $30. So I was like, all right, I'll jump in on that. And played a little bit of that. My daughter was very interested in playing Star Wars because she's kind of going through a Star Wars phase at the moment, which really means we play like a 2-player game, and I have to do one without AI controlled characters. So we do like a versus match, and I find her characters and then
let her shoot
vanquish them.
Oh, okay.
No, she generally turns to face a wall and fires her laser blaster into the wall. Yeah.
So she's a stormtrooper. She's training to be a stormtrooper.
That's right. She's a real good stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, she does really, really well in Splatoon. I am like amazed at how well she does in Splatoon. And you know what it is? It's the gyro controls.
Ah,
She can wrap
yes.
her head around the gyro controls, no
Absolutely.
problem.
It's
And
funny,
she,
when you think about it, like our generation, gyro controls, they suck. And you don't really kind of think about, because for us, dual stick analog controllers, they just make sense, right?
yeah,
Like I know for me, it took a long time for me to realize, to wrap my head around the fact that anyone who hasn't played games most of their lives, when they pick up a controller that has 15 buttons on it, they don't
yeah,
know what to do with it.
no,
But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
no. So yeah, Splatoon. She is really good at the tutorial level of Splatoon. Uh, and she like paints the entire ground of that tutorial level. Every time we play, I have to go in and delete her save and then start the tutorial
Nice.
over again. And yeah, she has a lot of fun with that and is really good. The only thing she can't do at the moment is the jump, the long jump you have to do, like swim as a squid and then jump over the pit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She can't do that, but she has made attempts, but has not been able to do it. Otherwise, she's really good at it, and yeah, just played a little bit of Splatoon.
But yeah, going back to Star Wars Battlefront, my son's has played that way more than I have, and it was for the first time, probably in a couple months, that I really sat down and played co-op with him this week, and I was really impressed with how good he is at it now.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he was holding his own, like as a team, he was holding his own.
awesome.
So that was really, and I mean, I'm not great at shooters, but he was really doing well.
I am terrible at it.
Daddy
Terrible.
feels sick. Just waiting for her to roll her eyes. Like, again?
What?
Old man, you and your motion sickness.
Oh no, I didn't. Motion sickness is not a problem in this one.
Okay.
But I'm not good, and part of it is, of course, that other people have perks and stuff that I just don't have. So I mean, I don't have the awesome equipment already. So, but I'm terrible at it. So there's that. What else did I play? Oh, I played Wii Sports Club with my daughter too. That's another, talking about motion controls. She gets the bowling too.
Who wouldn't?
I know. But that game is actually really fun with a 4-year-old.
Oh yeah, those games are great with children.
Sure,
that's why they exist. Children and senior citizen.
That's exactly it. I also played The Flame in the Flood very briefly. This is by an indie team. I think their name is the Molasses Flood. Small indie team that did a Kickstarter for this game, and it's a survival game, roguelike survival game. And it's sort of in the same vein as Don't Starve and that like type of game where you go from location to location gathering items and then crafting things that you need and such as that. The graphic style is really nice. It came out on PC and Xbox One. I picked it up on the Xbox One, and it looks really great. I'll link to a couple of videos of it in the show notes so that people can check it out. These types of games like Don't Starve, just really like I always try them. I can never quite.
Yeah,
they just don't click. They don't click with me. But this one has a really interesting concept where you are traveling down a river with this dog, with your dog pal, and I don't think that it's something else, but you land at various docks and get out and explore the area and come back onto the river, and you have to steer around things in the river, and you'll hit the rapids, and it'll be very difficult to navigate the rapids, and you'll damage your boat and whatnot. But you can get blueprints for new boats, and it's pretty interesting. I got to play more of it, but it looks really cool, and if you are into that type of game, you might enjoy it quite a bit.
Okay.
So I will link to that in the notes. But what I think we should do now are some tweets.
Just tweet it up.
All right. So we got this one a couple of weeks back, that I want to do right
Always
up the
current.
front. Always current. Player One podcast from hacker alias A Scott X, who says this is about you, Greg.
Uh-oh.
He says Greg mentions VCR games in his latest Sega CD article. Could you talk more about VCR games? What are your favorites?
VCR games were the future.
They were the future. In fact, the Sega, or not the Sega, the Hasbro, I think it was Hasbro Nemo.
The Nemo.
The Nemo was the full motion video.
Stands for never ever mention outside.
That's right. It was the base games for that were the basis for the Sega CD's initial lineup.
Yes. And it was Night Trap and Sewer Shark were the two main ones. Although I don't think they were called Night Trap and Sewer Shark. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, those were originally VHS games. Now the Nemo was a little bit different than when we were talking about a VCR game. It's not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
The Nemo was definitely different because it would have graphics overlaid over VHS and that sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I believe actually if you have Night Trap on the Sega CD, you can input a code and you can find footage of Hasbro executives meeting to discuss the Nemo system.
That's right.
Which is kind of cool.
That might be on YouTube somewhere, I'm sure. I'm sure
it has to be. What else is, why wouldn't it be? Yeah. But yeah, so VCR games, that was a thing for a while where you would get like a board game and it would come with a companion cassette that you would put in, and it either you just, press play at certain times, or you would have to seek around to different points on the tape.
That's right.
Which sounds as unwieldy as it is. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like there was one actually when I was doing research for the most recent article, which was about it's a full motion video football game, and there was actually a VCR. I think there were a few VCR football board game where you would be on opposite ends of a board or a field, and certain cards. It was all card based, and certain cards you would pick up would be like, would just like say press play on the VCR, and a play would run. And then whatever happened there, that was the result you took to make your next move on the board. The one that we had two when I was a kid, and one was Rich Little's Charades. Which who the hell remembers Rich Little? Honest to God. Yeah. But it was literally him doing charades.
Okay.
That's all it was, and it is amazing. You can find footage of it on YouTube, and because he gives this big tutorial on charades to start the tape, like teaching you what like putting two fingers up here is, or like two syllables, all that stuff. Yeah, he gives a full tutorial on how to play charades. And then the other one we had was Clue.
Oh, I had Clue also.
Yeah, so this was the Clue game, but with video as a companion to the actual game,
right?
Which is just gold, and it is also on YouTube. And I highly maybe we can put the links in the show notes or something, but I highly suggest watching it for a little while because it's, of course,
amazing.
It's being done with no budget, so the actors are the acting in it is just it's incredible. Like it's so over the top and overblown, and because you kind of go into it looking for at least kind of the level of like the Tim Curry movie. Right. But you're not getting anywhere near that.
No.
It's just, but yeah, it was a fad for a little while there. I'd say in the early 90s, maybe
late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. We had Clue also, and I don't think I ever actually got through an entire game of Clue.
Whoever did,
but I did watch the tape plenty of times, and I certainly remember a lot of that footage. It's fantastic. That's pretty.
It really is, and it's definitely an oddity. Like you're never ever going to see anything like that again.
No. I wish we would. I wish we would see things like that again. Yeah. It'd be amazing. But
you watch stuff like that and you realize that something like Night Trap was not a new idea,
right?
In the early 90s, right? Like it was definitely a step up from what these were, these VHS board games. But yeah, totally cool. Go look up some reviews and stuff on YouTube because it's just so completely different than anything you've ever seen, and it's great. It's great.
It really is. All right. Hacker alias Mongo McDougal says, what Yarn-based Nintendo game is next? Yarn Metroid? Yarn Urban Champion? Since they've done 2 Yarn games, you know.
I'd take a Yarn Metroid just to get another Metroid game.
Me too. Me too. You think we'll see another Metroid game from Nintendo?
Yeah, I think so. They'll trot it out again eventually.
Yeah, I think the next Nintendo Yarn game is going to be one based on Super Mario Brothers 2. So Wart will be back, but he'll be in Yarn form. That's my bet.
Okay.
I don't know.
Why not?
I actually really want to see. They'll never do this, right? Nintendo redo Super Mario Brothers 2, or like do a sequel to Super Mario Brothers 2 or Zelda 2 and release them.
I would love to see them take a shot at doing something like a sequel to Super Mario Brothers 2. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a big risk because they've really, they really come on strong in the last few years with new Super Mario Brothers. And now 3D World and 3D Land, that, it might be a little bit too weird to do that, but I would be all over it.
I'd be all over that. Plus, I mean, new Super Mario Brothers, you got all the levels you need in Mario Maker, right? You don't need that. Like, may as well go somewhere new with that. Go to Super Mario Brothers 2. Let's see Subcon again.
I'd love to.
Yeah, I would too. That'd be great. All right. Let's do this one from Hacker alias D. Halvers, who says...
Dave Halverson?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe. What's a good entry point for the Pokemon series for a father and son who's 7, never played one, have a Wii U and a 3DS? First of all, I hope you have 2 3DSs because the Pokemon games only have 1 save file on them. It's not like a Zelda game where you can have 3 slots or Animal Crossing or anything else. It is brutal. So there's that. But a good entry point for the series, I always recommend X and Y because those are the newest games that aren't remakes, and they have that experience share item which makes the game a little more playable for adults who don't have the time to like try to level up each Pokemon by swapping them in and out.
Yeah.
So I would say start there. Wii U, you're out of luck on Pokemon games on the Wii U. There's not any that I'm aware of. Maybe there's like a spin-off game, but there's no mainline Pokemon stuff there. So, I mean, I guess if you really wanted to just dip your toe, you could get one of the Virtual Console games for $10 and try that. But those games have not aged all that well.
They're of their age.
Yes, they are of 1996.
Yeah.
So,
do you think if the NX really is a hybrid, standalone and handheld console, that we'll finally get a mainline Pokemon game that you can play on your TV when it's launched?
When the NX is launched?
When I'm saying like a Pokemon game that's new, so at launch you actually get to play it on TV rather than using like a Game Boy player or something like that. But
I would say yes. I mean, if it's a system where basically you're doing remote play, unless you're playing on the television, then I would say, well, yeah, of course. Then I would love that because I would love to play Pokemon on television. But I mean, I understand why they haven't done that previously. They wanted to keep the games about being mobile, about trading with other people, about being social, which, Pokemon Go is kind of going to be doing a lot of that stuff and continuing that. So, yeah, I mean, whatever comes next after Sun and Moon will probably be on NX if NX is that hybrid system, which I really hope it is. Yeah. Anyway, X and Y. Start there. All right. Hacker alias Mr. Nelson says, do you think that Kanye West has ever actually touched a TurboGrafx 16 controller in his life?
CJ would know.
I would not know, actually. Yeah, I don't know if people know that story who are just getting in on the show now. I went to like grade school with Kanye West, which is the weirdest thing ever. But we went to the same school because I'm from Chicago originally, and then my parents, we moved out to the suburbs in about 1985. So went from kindergarten through second grade, and Kanye West was in my class, and went to his birthday party and everything. It was kind of crazy. Anyway.
I love that. It's such a random thing. Like
yeah, it is. But so he's going to call his next album TurboGrafx 16, apparently.
Oh, is he really?
That's the thing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I think he probably has played a TurboGrafx 16. I'm going to say probably.
You're going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And if not, next time I see him, I'll make sure that he does play a TurboGrafx 16.
Next time I see him. Roll in the same circles.
Exactly, because I see him all the time, right?
Yep. Back in the hood.
Exactly. All right, hacker alias Eric DM08 says, I'd like to know your thoughts on Far Cry Primal and the HD remake of Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. We talked about Far Cry Primal already, so skip right over that.
Twilight Princess. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll be picking that up, but
why? What?
I can't. Why? I can't. I didn't like it. Are you sure you didn't like it? Are you sure that it wasn't the waggle controllers, the waggle control? I'm not 100% sure.
Tinting your opinion on that?
I am a Zelda fan, which I feel like is a dying breed nowadays. But
really,
it just seems like everyone seemed to crap all over Skyward Sword. But
I crap on the last 2 hours of Skyward Sword. The first 2 hours and the last 2 hours, you can just cut that off, cut the crusts off, and you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Twilight Princess. So I liked Twilight Princess, and I think I said that on the show because some of our first episodes were around the time the original game came out.
I think our first episode we were talking about buying our Wii consoles.
That's right. So I'm excited about the remake a lot. I'm going to be playing the heck out of that, and I think it's going to be good. This will be my first time playing it with a control pad because I played the Wii version and not the GameCube version before. Mm-hmm. So that'll be fun. I don't know if you saw, Nintendo has been doing some really great stuff on YouTube with Twilight Princess. Both on Nintendo Minute, and then they're starting a retrospective series that there's two episodes out now where you've got members of the original team talking about the unveiling of Twilight Princess. Remember that E3 where people went crazy?
I still have the DS cartridge.
Yeah.
It has that original trailer on it.
That people went friggin' wild for.
Actually, I lie. I don't have that anymore. I sold it. But yes.
Oh, okay. And then they did a follow-up. They did a second episode too that I have not watched yet, but
I'll have to check that out.
But they're doing a bunch of those. So yeah, super interesting stuff. I cannot wait to replay it. I'm looking forward to that for sure. I like Wind Waker Zelda more than realistic Zelda, but I realized that at the time, back in 2006, people wanted realistic Zelda back. Right.
Yeah.
People shat all over Wind Waker, wanting the realistic Zelda.
Right.
And that's what they got in Twilight Princess. And hopefully the improvements that they've made will really have a good impact on the game. But let's see. What else do we have? Let's do this one from Hacker alias Thorbon 3, who says Streets of Rage 2 is coming to vinyl. What game soundtrack would get you to buy a record player, or what's one that you would buy day one?
To buy a record player? I don't think there would be one.
Yeah, I don't think.
Honestly, Streets of Rage 2 would be the one. because that is by far my favorite soundtrack ever. But
I think if I bought one of those, that I'd be interested in displaying it rather than actually like playing the record.
For me, it'd be that. It would be that. It would be ActRaiser, or probably any of the like Super Nintendo Final Fantasies.
Yeah, Super Nintendo Final Fantasy. I'd be all about that.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 3, well, 6.
Yes.
The soundtrack for that was the first video game soundtrack I bought.
Mm-hmm.
And
that game had incredible music.
Yeah. Square released a 3-disc soundtrack in the US called Kefka's Domain. Mm-hmm. And I bought the heck out of that and got a lot of plays out of that game, or out of that soundtrack, just in general. So that'd be the one I'd buy. Yeah.
Word.
I think that's it.
Let's call it a night.
I think we should call it.
So I'd say we brought March in like a lion. Would you agree?
What?
I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Where are you going with that?
I'm tired. I want to finish watching the race and go to bed.
Well, I will allow you to do that right after this. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Seward.
Yes, there's a couple pretty recent ones up there about football games.
Indeed.
Be a hockey one coming in the next week or so, I think.
Cool. And you'll find our contact information there. You'll find Generation 16 episodes.
Yeah, I broke ground on the final segment of episode 17 this week.
Very nice. Very, very nice. And there's a message board there where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by going to player1podcast.com or to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can invest $1.99.
Cheap.
On the Player One Podcast iPhone app. Lets you stream all of our episodes, and as well as communicate with us via anything but voicemail. You can also get that on the Android Amazon App Store for $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can go to our Facebook page. You can like us. You can watch us on YouTube / that's Generation 16. Sorry. Watch us on YouTube /P1 Podcast, I believe is the correct one.
That's
usually every Sunday night when we record this mess at 8 Eastern, usually 8 Eastern. There's usually more of us than CJ and I, but we're the two most interesting people. So
that's right.
Right? Yeah.
Sure.
Our shirts are primary colors. And if you like what you've heard as we head into our 500th episode soon.
Indeed.
Show ain't cheap, man. We got that website. We got other stuff to, CJ's got to buy more virtual console versions of games he bought 20 years ago.
True.
Head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast if you would like to, support us with your hard-earned American pesos. Indeed. They're worth like 1.5 Canadian dollars. So, it keeps the lights on, keeps the website running. In all seriousness, though, there are costs associated with the show. We don't want to charge for the show. We never want to charge for the show. It should be free because we enjoy doing it. But if you feel like helping us out, we would highly appreciate that.
Indeed. Although for this week and the past week, the sponsorship has been Out of the Park Developments.
Yes.
And Out of the Park 17. Go to ootpdevelopments.com. Pre-order Out of the Park Baseball 17. Enter Player 17 as a promo code at checkout. And I think that expires like now. So better get on that. But thanks to them for sponsoring the last 2 episodes. So Patreon backers have not actually been charged for these 2 episodes.
See, that's the type of honesty you get from the Player One Podcast.
That's right.
That's what we try to do.
We're not in it for the money because
we really aren't. We aren't. We just want to keep it going.
Absolutely.
Almost 500 episodes. Holy crap! Can you imagine?
We're gaining on, we can get there real quick.
Yeah.
So crazy.
So with that said, CJ, thank you for
Yes.
hosting as always.
Anytime.
And thanks.
I should have had you host, actually.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe some other time.
Yeah, we'll do that another time.
Thanks to Phil for showing up next week.
He's not going to listen to this episode, so you don't even have to worry.
I know. You say whatever we want about him. And we'll see you all next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.